David, let's start with climate change. Last month, the United Nations issued another report saying climate change is here, it's real, we need to do something about it. And this summer, we're seeing wildfires, hurricanes, intense storms, flooding. Yeah. Do you think that's reality as it's hitting America is going to change the way politicians think about climate change? Are the wildfires out west going to help move them forward to action? Or is it going to be business as usual?
Well, it is moving them. There's no doubt that it's moving them. In some places, it's moving them dramatically. So we have made progress, and there is a greater recognition than there was in the past. But the question is just one of speed. Can we catch up with the problem in time?
You know, I recall when you left the Obama administration, you told me you were so proud of the steps that have been taken on the federal clean car standards, what a difference that would make going forward. And now, indeed, we're seeing Ford, GM, all the auto manufacturers move to electric vehicles in a very serious and major way. It's clear that climate change has become a voting issue in the Democratic primary. How close are we, in a general, to at least getting independent swing voters to really be looking at climate change issues?
In terms of as a voting issue, it's still, for a lot of voters, hasn't risen to the top as it perhaps should. You look at the some of the polling before the 2020 election, and Democrats listed climate as the top concern that they had. It wasn't even among the top 5 among Republican voters. We are not very good at dealing with long-term problems. And the question is, when will we cross the threshold where people think of this not as a long-term problem, but a clear and present danger that they can see in their lives?
How does that play out, David, in the infrastructure legislation, which is sort of three-dimensional chess? How do you think this plays out over the next couple of weeks? Stalemate, progress? Does the deal get done or not?
Well, it is a gnarly situation, but I really do believe at the end of the day it will get done. I think, to borrow a phrase from a different issue and debate, I think it's too big to fail. I don't think any Democrat really wants to be responsible for turning their back on what will be historic progress wherever they land. The infrastructure bill is less than the president wanted, but it's still 1.2 trillion, 550 billion in new spending. We would have given our right arm for that during the Obama administration.
Let me turn to one area where there really is bipartisan support. It's almost nonpartisan. The Great Lakes is where we live, work, and play. Politically, the support has crossed both aisles. We worked with President Obama and you to create the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, which has been successful. The Obama administration did a lot to protect the Great Lakes. And even when President Trump tried to zero out the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative, he got pushback from both Republican governors, Republican senators, as well as Democrats.
Yeah, first let me say, and again, you guys were in the middle of this. This is why I'm so glad to be here, Howard, not just because we've been friends for, 35, 40 years, but because I really do admire what you have done and what you and your colleagues have done.
Thank you.
Here in this region. You've made, the mark of success is to have you made a lasting difference. You guys have made a lasting difference in this region, and this Great Lakes issue is one of them. I think, I forget the exact number. I think maybe it was $350 million that we put into Great Lakes restoration, and we fought off all kinds of efforts to take those resources away, and they were put to good. They've been put to good use, and a lot of progress has been made in the last decade. And there's a lot of political impetus to keep that, because, 8 states touch the Great Lakes, obviously Canada as well. A lot of those states happen also to be, battleground states in presidential politics, which gives them a little bit more weight, on both sides of the aisle.
Hey, last question, David, because if I didn't ask you this, everybody would say, why the heck didn't you ask David? What's your crystal ball for the 2022 elections?
History would suggest that Republicans will make gains in 2022. Generally, the party that holds the White House and both houses of Congress suffer losses in midterm. I think only twice since World War II has the governing party gained in these midterm elections. It's very hard to do. Secondly, we're in a redistricting year, and while that may favor Democrats in some states, like Illinois, for example, nationally it probably will advantage Republicans. And then then it becomes a question of who votes. If Democrats stay home, Republicans can have a very big year. Certainly the environmental issue plays into this, because I think most Americans now see that we have significant environmental challenges. I would plug away at these issues. It could make a real difference in some very swing districts and states.
Thank you, David. Hey, David, thank you for all you do. I really do look forward to catching up with you in Chicago. And thank you for joining us today. It's great.
Happy to be here. Thank you for all your good work, Howard. You're a hero on these issues, and you've made a real difference in the life of this region and the life of our country. And I admire you for it and your organization.
Thank you. See ya.